Hello there, YouTube. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way first, shall we? I'm smoking my Castle Morta, Russian-made, cheap and cheerful, and in it some Squadron Leader. Still going through the sample. Another one. Rather uneventful week, I must say. Went to the museum today with my wife. I'm gonna post some photos on Instagram because some of the I found some nuggets in the exhibit that are pipe related. Might be interesting. Otherwise, just a normal week. I was, work, kids, struggling with my YouTube access, which actually, this is the topic of today's video. Namely, this thing. I'm gonna put my pipe down. So that's my old iPad. In this day and age, something is, last year it's already old. Everyone is chasing, the newest thing, the most advanced thing, but this one is old. That's actually first generation iPad. I had the very first one and then I exchanged it, sold that, and bought this one, which is a first generation iPad with 3G access. So it has a slot for a SIM card. It's been my friend for many, many years. And my window into YouTube. See that icon over there? That was the original. The original proprietary app. YouTube app. First iPads had, and then within the years my access to YouTube through this iPad became more and more restricted. First, the licensing agreement between Apple and Google, owners of YouTube, expired and this app stopped working. So, no biggie, Google developed their own proprietary app and we switched to that. But then because of the age of this particular device and the operating system that it runs, I believe it's iOS 5.11. I am unable to download and install any later versions of iOS, and so all the programs that are developed for the later versions of iOS won't run. Usually you can download through the App Store, you can download the recent compatible, the latest compatible version of any app. But in case of Google and their YouTube app, it doesn't work. It loads, the home screen, the videos, but you cannot actually play them. So for several years, I thought, again, no biggie. I just opened the browser and watched YouTube through the browser. But then something went wrong with the browser. First, it stopped going full screen. And recently it stopped playing YouTube videos altogether. Again, you can access the website, but you cannot play the video itself. And I was very bummed by this. I wanted, my laptop is even more ancient. It works very slow. It has tremendous difficulty, playing back any videos. So I was looking, at YouTube videos on my phone, which is an iPhone, doesn't have, the biggest screen in the world, so it's not very convenient. But this, my old iPad, I was looking at it, and the more I looked at it, the more frustrated I got. Because here is a functional device, fully functional device. It's not quick by any means, but it works. And I cannot watch, a YouTube video on it. So I went reading online. Because, to Apple, this system, this iPad is basically dead. They won't support it. They do not issue updates for it. They won't accept it for a trade-in. So I thought to myself, how about I'll jailbreak this iPad? For those unfamiliar with the term, jailbreaking is essentially nullifying all, the firewalls and all the protection Apple has on its devices. So you can install third-party applications that are not accepted by the Apple App Store. So I went Googling again, reading all the forum threads, Reddit threads, and I stumbled upon a small app, which is more like a utility or something like that. The inventor of which claimed that he can get this old native YouTube app back online. He was saying it's basically several lines of code, and he was offering a fix for that. So my boss was away on vacation, and there was no particular, workload. I took my laptop, my old laptop, and this iPad to work, and I went about jailbreaking it. Did it after a couple of tries, installed this utility, and it's, sort of works miraculously. By all means, I'm not a tech-oriented person, but if the stars align, all right, it does work. You just open the app, it opens the YouTube home screen. You cannot access your account, of course. You cannot access your channel, but you can type in the search. It will show whatever YouTube shows. When you search for a video, you can play it, and more often than not it does play. In HD, full screen. And I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, this device is, and this app is fully functional, but just because of the expired license agreement, it simply doesn't work, because there's a particular line of codes that says you don't work. And what's even more interesting, this guy, as far as I understand, this utility is a one-man operation, and he is constantly struggling with Google, with YouTube. In one of his tweets, he said, I'm paraphrasing by it, he said he's afraid that YouTube stopped working in the browser of the old devices because of him. His guess was that Google deliberately turned off basically YouTube in the browser so that people will come to him and basically overload his capacity. Although I think he found a way to, circumvent it. Again, I'm not qualified to talk about that. But I read about this, the idea that, YouTube stopped working because they wanted to get to this particular guy who's... And I thought to myself, that's bullshit, that's a conspiracy theory. Here's a guy who's trying to get access to, I don't know how many, couple of thousand people who have old, out-of-date Apple devices, give them access to YouTube. And the more I thought about that, it dawned on me that that's exactly the kind of a low blow these guys will do. I'm not sure if it's true. But looking at Google and YouTube and their behavior, I cannot dismiss it. It might be true. The idea that they're trying to get to this one guy by shutting everyone off YouTube and making them go to him. Whole this situation with everything, retro is in vogue right now, and yet here are a couple of thousand people with outdated devices. Apple and Google do not support them. No one supports them, and they are prohibited, they are denied their opportunity for them to figure out for themselves how to access the goddamn YouTube website or server or something like that. Exactly the kind of shit Google will attempt, We are very helpful. We provide tons of useful functions for you if you play by our rules. If you don't, we'll flip a switch and you're out. I was reminded yet again that it's an unpleasant thought, but we must not forget it. All this beautiful thing, not my shitty kitchen, I mean YouTube, all this beautiful thing, the connections that we establish, all the fun that we're having, sharing ideas, videos, all the humor, all the knowledge. It's only present, it's only here because some, dipshit corporate guy lets us have the fun. And if we don't play by the rules, if we so much as look at him the wrong way, flip goes the switch and we are cut off. Kind of a morbid reminder, really. Probably that's why I'm, sort of active on YouTube, on Instagram. I usually double my Instagram posts on Facebook. I also have an account on the Russian, social network, which as far as we know here in Russia is connected to FSB, our secret, service. I do it solely because I do not want to put all the eggs in one basket. Yeah. There are changes in the Russian legislation right now, 1st of November. A new law is in effect. You probably haven't heard about that, but it, the conspiracy theorists here in Russia believe that that law will enable, Russian government to shut us off. So if I disappear, whom to blame? don't think it will come to that. Not yet. But, you know, having a hobby that is so dependent on someone else, that's disturbing. People keep asking me, why do you bother with, you know, miniatures and tabletop games, etc., etc. I just don't want to be dependent on tech so much. Partly because this tech goes out of date so quickly. I'm not saying anything against the guy. He's been a faithful companion for 9 years. 9 years, can you believe that? He's almost a dog at this point. Anyways, I'm rambling. Just thought I'd make this sort of a reminder video for everyone, you know. We are here because someone else lets us to be here. So I very much like what people in the US, in the UK, members of the YTPC, what they are doing, you know, establishing connections outside the World Wide Web, you know, meeting each other. That's great. And please keep it up. This might not last eventually. That's a reminder to me again. I have one acquaintance I made through YouTube, which is amazing if you ask me. We met once, but I need to reestablish that connection. Make it more, not exactly permanent, but regular, just in case. That's more reassuring than what I said previously. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. Keep connecting with each other. And keep us overseas guys, you know, in check. Yeah, thanks a bunch for dropping by. I'll be back soon with another one of my videos. Until then, happy puffing, have a nice, I hope you had a nice weekend. Tomorrow is a public holiday in Russia. For the love of me, I cannot remember the title. Something like the National Day of National Unity, something like that. We're always forgetting these new holidays, the titles, you know. But oh well. So maybe film a video tomorrow if I have the time. I cannot guarantee that, unfortunately, but, you know, again, happy buffing, have a great weekend, and see you people. Goodbye.